Hey, what's up, folks? Just want to give you a quick note about this particular video. I separated it into two parts. I just felt like combined, it just ran too long, and I didn't want it to run too long on you all. So you will have the Green Arrow review in part one, and then in part two, you'll get Grifter as well as the Ghost Maker, along with the wrap up with all three figures at the end. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hope that you enjoy the review, and let's start the show. Welcome to DC Multiverse. I'm your host, Tyrus, and man, we're going to take a look at three figures that I never would have thought that we'd be getting from within the DC Multiverse line. I mean, there's one. I mean, I figured we at some point would get a Green Arrow, not a Ghost Maker though, and definitely not a Grifter figure. So this whole entire figure, it's not a wave, but each and every one of these figures for me represent why I really love this brand and why I feel like the DC Multiverse brand is the best on the market. The McFarlane toy line overall, I feel, is the best, and I feel like these figures are truly symbolic of that. Now, of course, there has been some issues with certain figures over the time. That happens. There might be some things with these figures here that might could use some retooling or could be different. Overall, man, extremely excited to be diving into these figures, man. Each figure is packaged with a collector's card as usual. Here we have the Emerald Archer's collector's card here with him looking to the side. And then on the back we have Green Arrow's data file. And then up next we have Grifter's collector's card here. And on the back we have Grifter's data file. Check that out. And last but certainly not least, we have Ghost Maker's collector's card here. Man, he looks awesome. And on the back here we have his data file as well. All right, up first, we're going to take a look at the Emerald Archer. So this is the Injustice version of Green Arrow. Now, personally, I am happy that we got a Green Arrow. Don't get me wrong. But I still want that classic Green Arrow, y'all. I mean, I'm old school. I love the classics. I'm so happy that McFarlane gave us that classic Martian Manhunter. We got that Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Year 2 Batman, stuff like that, man. So I'm hoping that we at some point will get a more of a 80s, 90-ish, Green Arrow. Hopefully we'll get a Black Canary because you can't have an arrow without Canary. So hopefully we'll get a more classic. I like the one with the Robin Hood get up, the hat and he has the green trunks and everything. So maybe even a rebirth Green Arrow, but I'm hoping more for a classic one. But this one will do for right now. Of course, this guy does have that, he does have the side-eye thing going. So that side-eye does not work with this Green Arrow. I mean, I've said this in previous videos. The side-eye works with some figures, but not all, and hopefully they'll kind of eliminate that. Now this is based off the Justice video game, and I feel like they captured the look of the Green Arrow from that game, man. It's not my most favorite look. I like my Green Arrow with the hood and everything, or the option to place the hood on the head. But again, man, if you follow this channel, if you don't know, Green Arrow is hands down one of my most favorite superheroes of all time. He's right there behind Batman. I love Stephen Amell as the Arrow during that CW run. For the most part, it got a little kind of wacky here and again, but man, love Stephen Amell as the Green Arrow. He did a good job with the role. Hope he comes back. And then it only enhanced my love for the character. And Oliver Queen is awesome, man. And I'm happy to have a Green Arrow. And again, the detail here looks pretty awesome, man. I mean, they did a good job with this Green Arrow. Again, I'm not a fan of the side eye, but I think they did a decent job with the face sculpting. The beard here, his vintage, little goatee and mustache. Did a good job with the detail, texture in the hair. He has the little Green Arrow emblem. The detail here throughout the costume looks good. You see the various weapons that he has here, the boots, everything is there. He has double jointed knees. So Articulation, I've been posing this guy around. Articulation is not a problem with this Green Arrow figure. That's the one of the things they definitely got right. Articulation is really good with this figure here, man. Arrow, you can definitely get Green Arrow in some really, really awesome poses here, man. I mean, you can have them in all types of just poses, posing around. Look at that. Really, really swashbuckler, swashbuckling poses. I'm really, really happy with this guy here. Articulation in the arms, really good. Double jointed elbows here, goes all the way out now. So you see he has the little shoulder pads here, but that definitely does not deter articulation. These are pliable, which I really like. I like that they did that. And here, head articulation is good as well. Got some articulation in the waist area. Not so much in the upper torso due to the sculpting of his little Kevlar armored chest and everything. So, but you do have some waist swivel, nice articulation in the knees, foot area is pretty good. He does have toe articulation as well, but so overall articulation is pretty solid. No upper torso, but everything else is a go. And again, man, you'll be able to put this guy into some pretty cool poses. All right, so Oliver does come with a few accessories here. He comes with this quiver. Nice, detailed design, really simple. And where you can place some arrows. So he does come with these arrows that are all, melded together. Now, this is where the issues for me arise with the figure. Of course, side-eye, don't like that. But the arrows, I really wish that they would have given us maybe some loose arrows to where you could put it in his hand. That's something that I wish they would have done. And when you talk about McFarlane toys, you think that they maybe give these arrows a little bit more better detail than they did right here. They just made everything just green. And, so maybe like give a little bit more detail than that. If anything, give us, some loose arrows as opposed to just a bunch of arrows all just melded together. So that's something that I wish they would have did a little different. And then Oliver does come with his bow here, which looks pretty decent, but at the same time, I wish we would have got a little bit more detail, especially here in the little handle area. Not sure exactly what the terminology for that is, but just a little bit more detail, especially again, when you talk about McFarlane toys and what the detail that they do put in a lot of these figures and the weapons, you feel like they could have did better with Oliver's weapons here. So, at the end of the day, man, when it comes to this Green Arrow figure, if I was in a production meeting and they asked me, hey, which Green Arrow figure are we going to release within the DC Multiverse line? This definitely would not be my choice because I've made no bones about it. I want more of a classic Green Arrow, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there want a classic Green Arrow, but, I still like this figure, despite some of its issues, side eye, that's definitely, they could have left that out. The lack of detail and attention that was paid to his, weapon accessories, the bow, the arrows here could have been better, and it could have gave us a loose arrow. So those are the things that kind of stand out to me. But as far as his overall look, they captured that, man. I'm happy. Detail is really on point. I've had fun posing this guy around, man. You could definitely get him into some poses. Now, one of the things that I wanted to add to this arrow, because y'all know that I like adding, accessories to figures that I feel needs accessories. So one of the things I wanted to add is this. So this arrow comes from my Hawkeye figure from the Marvel Select line. Now, as you can see, there is no arrowhead because it's supposed to stick into this diorama piece that has Ultron bots that they've taken out. So it's supposed to stick into the head of an Ultron bot, which is pretty cool. But I wanted to add this to the arrow so that he has an arrow that he's pulling from. So I'm going to just try to reenact that here and see how that works. All right, there you go. Okay, that's cool. That works. All right, so now it looks like he's getting ready to pull an arrow out of his quiver. That sounds funny, but that's what it is. But yeah, if I come on Arrow, you can stand for me. All right, yeah, there we go. I'm still loving this Green Arrow. I love it for better or worse. I'm still loving it. Just give me that classic Green Arrow though. Oh yeah, and bring on Black Canary. All right, folks. So here is my first comparison, and as you can see, the two different eras of Green Arrow figures. We have the old school DC Direct from the Crisis line, and then of course we have the Injustice Green Arrow from McFarlane Toys. Now, although this is a more updated figure with articulation and everything, this figure has a lot to it that I love, and I still love this figure to this day. Of course, this is the Green Arrow that I would love to see in McFarlane Toys. This is my Green Arrow. This is the classic Green Arrow that I know and I love, and I'm pretty sure a lot of fans out there would love to get a hold of a McFarlane Toys Green Arrow figure that looks like this, man. I mean, this is just where it's at, man. So I'm hoping we get this Green Arrow, and he has a lot to him that this one does not. He has the little arrow fingers here that this one doesn't have, as if he's pulling at the little string of the arrow, and has a nice little arrows here in the back. Now, the one other thing that this arrow has over this one, other than the fact that he's nowhere near as articulated and everything, but the old school look he has is a check for me. But also, folks, they did a good job with this oversized arrow that they gave him. And they even, there's a string here as well. So they paid a lot of attention to the type of arrow that they gave this guy. And for me, I think it's way too big for this figure. So what I'm going to do is give this bow to this Green Arrow figure. And I'd like for him to hold this here, but I don't know if he will. Around his arm. There we go. So we have this bow with this Green Arrow. And then we're going to give the larger one with the, the string to this one. And I feel like this will work better with this Green Arrow here. But I think this swap out definitely works. You tell me in the comments. All right, so I'm taking it back, and I mean way back to the early days of the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line. So this is the Stephen Amell Arrow from the Arrow television series, and I love Stephen Amell's Arrow. I love that show for the most part, before it started to kind of tell off in certain areas. But man, this was our very first Green Arrow from within this DC Multiverse line. This was a part of the first wave of figures, that we had. And I would love to see maybe a more updated version of a Stephen Amell Green Arrow with how they're doing the figures now. I don't know if we'll ever see that, but they did a good job here. This is what I want them to do with his arrows, the detail that they placed within that. But man, it's just so cool to see how everything started, man, and where we're at right now. And here we have two more characters that are really central to the whole Green Arrow story arc. These are based off the Arrow CW series from the DC Direct line, and this is the Malcolm Merlin figure as well as John Deagle. Now, man, I'm hoping that we get a John Deagle figure within the DC Multiverse line, as well as a Malcolm Merlin. Both are very important within the whole Arrow universe. So hopefully we'll get, more comic book inspired incarnations of both figures. So fingers crossed. We'll see. Let's get on to the next. And I got some more Injustice Gods Among Us action coming at you with the Injustice Gods Among Us Gorilla Grodd with our Green Arrow. And since we're on the subject of video game inspired figures, here also from McFarlane Toys is the Arkham Asylum Joker and the Arkham Asylum Batman figure. And here also from McFarlane Toys are two of the Green Arrows, Oliver Queen's best buddies, and Hal Jordan, aka the Green Lantern, and Barry Allen, aka the Flash.